There is a multi-million-dollar glamp site being built in upstate New York, and the neighbors absolutely hate it. In today's video, I'm going to tell you all about who is building this glamp site, what they are trying to build, how the neighbors feel about it, how it's already impacting the neighbors, and then I'm going to give you my straight up, my opinion, what I think of all of this, where I lie. Okay, so here's what's going on. A company called Campgrounds of America, or KOA, has a luxury brand called Terramor. And when I say luxury, I mean it. They plan on building 75 luxury tents on platforms. Now, these tents rent out for $300 to $500 per night. So they purchased 77 acres of land where Socrates and Woodstock meet. Yes, that Woodstock. The Woodstock from Woodstock 99, the Woodstock from the festivals, all that heritage and history, that is the Woodstock we're talking about here. The funny thing though is, since the festival and all that has died down, Woodstock is actually just a quiet little upstate art town. Like, it's not what you think it is. Now back to this crazy glamp site. So let's take it from the top. 75 luxury tents, $300 to $500 per night on 77 acres of land. They also are going to be building a 4,000 square foot restaurant, an event center, an outfitter shop, so like a gift shop, housing for the people that work there, a swimming pool, and a large communal fire pit. They also host events and other things like that. They want to go completely big time. Now, local residents are up in arms. They absolutely hate this idea. They don't give a damn about glamping, getting people outdoors or whatever. They're just trying to keep their quiet little art town. And I don't know how to feel on this one. I'm going to let you guys know my opinion at the end of it, because I kind of see it from both ways. What they're basically worried about is all of the worst things that come with glamp sites, campgrounds, etc. More traffic, so more cars driving down these quiet little roads, people going to and from the glamp site. There's definitely going to be more noise. There's definitely going to be more light pollution. Also, they're worried about water shortages. In upstate New York, most people have their own well on their land. Now, here's the problem with wells. If someone next to you is using up all the water that's underground, your well could run dry. Basically, I drink your milkshake.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
They're also worried that wildlife is going to be disrupted. I mean, obviously that's what's going to happen. So yeah, residents are saying there's a lot for them to worry about, and I think rightfully so. Terramor already has an open glamp site in Harbor, Maine. This glamp site already has a bar, it has a large communal space. They promote that they have live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every weekend. So of course people are like, I don't want to live next to this. Like, who wants that in their backyard? But we'll get into that later. Residents have even made a GoFundMe account as they stock up their war chest and get ready to fight. The craziest thing is, on this GoFundMe account, it says in all capital letters, resorts don't belong in residential communities. Terramor, or the people that are pro this glamp site, are trying to put the spin that the people that are complaining are just NIMBYs. Now, if you're not familiar with NIMBYs, or the term, it means not in my backyard. Are people that are NIMBYs that are just absolutely annoying. They don't want things that help the general society. Like, they're pro them, but they just don't want them near them. So those are the type of people who don't want power stations that obviously towns need. Water stations that towns need, affordable housings that help society. They want these things, but they're just like, don't build it in my backyard. So these are the type of people that are kind of douchebags. They're the ones who really only care for themselves and the property value of their land. Robert Thurman. He's a retired school administrator, a mental health counselor, and an asthmatic. And I bring up that fact because he is worried about the air pollution from all of these people and their fire pits and their s'mores just degrading the air and the wildlife, and it's going to make it harder for him to breathe. I don't know if this is a true fact or not. I have a friend who's asthmatic. I'm not sure. You guys let me know down in the comments if this is a real thing. He is on the board of Citizens Against Terramor. Yes, they made their own board. They are absolutely mobilized. He's on record saying, we don't feel there is any compromise that would allow this to be built. We're going to stick to our guns. It's crazy. Like, he's in for the fight of his life. I'm going to get into my actual opinion on this whole thing later on in the video, but to be honest, I think this guy's just complaining and he's just in for a fight. He's one of those people that he's retired, he has a lot of time in his day, he likes to go outside. He's the one who's always looking out of the window when the local kids are playing on the street. That's that. But there is a true cautionary tale about people who have really been negatively affected by this proposed GLAMPSITE, and I actually feel bad for them. So this summer, Painter and Socrates resident Donald Elder and his neighbor were right about to sell a 15-acre parcel of land that they jointly own. The customer who was going to buy the land is an artist who was going to build a home and a studio on the property. They wanted the land to basically have a private getaway for themselves, to go be in nature, to feel artistic, and to do their job. So a price was agreed upon in mid-June for the buyer to buy the land. Everything was going smooth. Now, if you don't know this, from when you agree to the price, I don't know, for me personally, it took about 3 months of just the lawyers going back and forth, my lawyer doing research on the land to ensure that there was no easements or any issues with the deed that was going to be given to me. It's a whole thing. So before the closing date of when this person was going to buy the land, newspapers started reporting on the Terramor development, the GLAMPSITE. Now, when the buyer learned that there was going to be a whole GLAMPSITE, a bunch of tents, no less than 100 feet from her property line, the buyer started worrying about light, music, noise, etc., and absolutely backed out of the deal. So now the people who were trying to sell the land are scared that they're never going to be able to do it. Because, I mean, who in their right mind wants to buy land next door to something like this? So they're worried that the value of their land has already gone down. And absolutely so, because they were unable to close the deal just because of this. So how are they fighting back? Well, if you don't know the Socrates and Woodstock area, as I said, it isn't the big party town that one would think it is. It's really just a quiet town of, to be honest, hippies. And most of these hippies are well-to-do in terms of finances. So they have absolutely mobilized. They have already raised more than $30,000 to hire a hydrologist, an environmental engineer, a geologist, a lawyer, an environmental research institute. I mean, they're not stopping. They're going all the way with this. They've already banded together and made their citizens against Terramor group. They have a board. They are absolutely mobilized and ready for war. So what's my personal view on all of this? Well, to be honest, I'm a little torn, but not really. So the reason why I'm torn is I'm from New York. All right. I didn't move here. I was born in New York, graduated high school in New York, live in New York, in a little art town by the river, right off the Hudson. So I understand people wanting to make sure their towns and where they're from remain quiet, remain a great place to live. That being said, big business will come for everybody. So you think I am against these NIMBYs and the Socrates people and Woodstock people against this development? Well, absolutely not. I actually am pro them. To be honest, I'm really not a fan of these large mega corporations trying to do their hand at glamping resorts. I'm not a fan of them for a couple of reasons. A, I think that just tossing money at a problem will not help it. We all have seen what's going on in tech right now, where it doesn't matter how much money Mark Zuckerberg pumps into the metaverse. We just don't want it right now. They're burning cash. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of these larger glamp sites. There's just a lot of deep pockets being tossed at a problem until they figure it out and they make it work. Other side of it is what they do to the market. I think that a lot of these large corporations are jumping into glamping, trying to make it work, but when the numbers really don't pan out for them, they are going to leave the glamping market. They're just going to shut down, pack it up. It was all investors' money. It's all other people's money, so they don't give a damn. They're just going to leave and shut down. But what they're going to have done is skewed the views and opinions of people that stay at these glamp sites, thinking that they all are going to be the Four Seasons and the Ritz-Carlton. Me, myself, I'm a big believer in small businesses. I prefer them. I go to mom and pop shops. My father was an entrepreneur my entire life. So I'm just really not a fan of these things. I do call myself a city boy, but let's be honest and let's look at the environmental impact of what's going on here. When I purchased my 3 acres of land in upstate New York, I actually made sure that I wasn't going to be disrupting the local ecosystem as much as possible. I have not torn down one tree on my land. I have not disrupted anything that's going on. The worst I have done is made sure that a river that was going through my land flowed smoothly. And also I added some rocks and other things like that so the river wouldn't flood. But aside from that, I really haven't done anything to negatively impact the environment. These companies are definitely going to do that. They bring in a lot of people that don't give a damn about the environment, and one can say that smaller glamp sites do too, but smaller glamp sites have a much smaller impact on the environment, and they're able to stay on top of these people much easier. It's much easier to make 3 people follow the rule than it is to make 77 people follow the rules. Lastly, do you think investors give a damn about the environment or their bottom line? Like, let's be honest, these people that put forth the millions of dollars to make this GLAMPSITE a thing, they only care about a return on their investment by any means necessary. Do large corporations belong in the glamping industry? Do NIMBYs and annoying neighbors have the right to shut down businesses? Let me know what you think about this article and this story in the comments below. I am seriously curious to see where you guys end up on the spectrum of things and what your opinion is of this. If you liked the video, especially if you learned something new, be sure to like the video, share it with a friend, and also leave a comment below to let me know your opinion. Thanks for checking out today's video.